Hey guys, I'm back. I haven't done a review in a while, but Iron Man 3 recently came out, and I felt like doing a review, but I couldn't motivate myself to do one by myself because there's so much to talk about. So I brought in some help. Everybody say hello to my good friend Jack Morris. Say hello, Jack.
Hello, everybody. I'm kind of waiting for them to say hello to me now because you said they should, so, you know.
They are, I'm sure, all the people watching this. But yes, if you don't know Jack, he's from a partnered channel I am partnered with called Man on Fire
I
Films.
was going to say, do you want to try that sentence in English? That might help.
Called Man on Fire Films. We do multiple videos, mostly gaming, but we also do comic book videos. Game video. I said games.
I'm sure you can link to some of them in the description.
Well, it'll all be in the description. We'll talk about it a bit at the end. But first off, we went to see Iron Man 3, not together.
No, it wasn't a mandate, unfortunately.
Yeah. We went to see Iron Man 3 separately, but basically the same time, and it hasn't come out in America yet, so I wanted to get my review out there first. It's just such a British thing to be like, yeah, get it out before the Americans can see it.
I know. I think it's fair that people in America who might be otherwise going to see this film know whether it's good or not before they go to see it.
That's fair enough. We don't want to waste their money, so we're helping them if the Americans are listening to this.
Through being very vain and really arrogant, we are helping them.
Exactly. So let's just get into the review. Again, there's not going to be any spoilers. This is a very spoilerific movie. The trailers show a lot, so don't watch the trailers if you haven't already.
If you've managed to go this long without watching the trailers, yeah.
Keep it up. And if you've managed to go this long, why would you watch them anyway?
Yeah.
First, I want to talk about Tony, because obviously a big part of the movie is Tony, but let's just talk about Tony's act, because there are a lot of subplots in this movie.
Yeah. And again, it's going to be kind of difficult talking about any of them without spoiling it, but yeah. I admire your candor to try.
But I will say this isn't really a spoiler, because it's kind of a given, but the main thing with Tony, I think, is the suffering the after effects of the Avengers. How do you think that was handled?
We've discussed this before, and I kind of, again, I'm trying to stay away from spoilers here. I think you put it better than I could, where although Marvel is saying this is the start of Phase 2, it feels like the epilogue to Phase 1 more than the start of Phase 2. It really does. You said that, and I absolutely agree with you. Yeah, they handled Tony, well, I really am trying to stay away from spoilers here. To put it simply, Tony in this movie is my favorite Tony. Can I say what I think of this film, or are we coming back to that later?
Yeah, you can say this opinion's all the way through.
Awesome. Great. Love it. Absolutely my favorite Iron Man film. Without shadow of a doubt, it's my favorite Iron Man film. Not the best Avengers movie. The Avengers itself, in my opinion, still takes that award. But this is what I always wanted from an Iron Man movie, and Tony, Robert Downey Jr. nails it more than he's been nailing it, if that could even be possible.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I mean, it's a thing where, like, usually when you get a saga, the actor gets into the role by about the second movie, and he's kind of got it down. So then in the third movie, unless it's like the third movie syndrome where it's horrible, in the third movie, they've got, like, the performance down, and it's the best. But with Robert Downey Jr., he had the performance down before he was even cast in Iron Man.
Yeah, he was Tony Stark before Tony Stark was Tony Stark.
So by his fourth performance as Iron Man, he's just, Tony Stark, he's just got it down. And the best thing is they put him in a place in this movie that he wasn't in Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, or the Avengers. And, like, it's so completely opposite to what Tony's used to. And it just nails it. Like, it would be you'd think it would be a 50-50 of either he carries on acting like Tony Stark, which is weird considering the situation he's in, or he just takes it a complete boring route, which would be he's like completely psychotic, which then you wouldn't have what makes Tony Stark fun.
That wouldn't be Tony Stark. That would be crazy Stark.
So then Downey Jr. does juggle it very well, and
it's brilliant. Yeah. I mean, it's really weird. It's really weird. It's really weird to see after 3 films, if you count the Avengers, that they still managed to keep Iron Man as a character. I don't mean Tony Stark. I mean the Iron Man. The idea of Iron Man interesting in both the combat action scenes and the story behind the suit. It's mind-boggling that they still managed to keep that interesting. But goddamn, they kept it interesting.
Yeah, and I think overall Tony's arc in this, and there's multiple arcs. There's obviously loads of different things, and especially at the end, which we won't talk about. But the wrap up for Tony at the end is really good, and I really like
it's fantastic. They nail it. They absolutely nail it. Now, there's a bit of contention here, and I know you disagree with me. Although as much as I love this film, I'm trying to stay away from spoilers here. I was under the impression it was going to be Demon in a Bottle.
Okay, yeah, that is a big thing. I mean, I think one of the things is that they never properly advertised it as Demon in a Bottle. I
know. I'm partly to blame because I love Demon in a Bottle. It's my favorite Iron Man story.
Yeah.
But so I wanted it to be Demon in a Bottle more than it actually was Demon in a... it's hard to say really fast.
Yeah.
Demon in a Bottle.
And if you look at it like a lot of people have been saying this, especially now that the movie's come out in some places, it's it's very it's got lots of elements from Demon in the Bottle, as except for the bottle, which is one of the main things.
It's like
Demon
everything
in a
but
tin can.
Yeah.
Like even
Demon in a tin can is pretty good description.
Yeah, I think they even ripped some lines from the actual arc Demon in a Bottle as well and put them in the movie. So there is a lot. It's still got that feeling, and it's still got what makes it good. But the problem is the kind of disconnect, the differences between the two pieces, is that Demon in the Bottle is almost scarier.
Yeah.
Because Tony brought it on himself.
Yeah, and to be honest, Red, I know this might seem as blasphemy, especially even to myself, because of how much I love Demon in a Bottle. I kind of prefer this story. I do. I mean, if they'd done Demon in a Bottle, it would have been sadder, more depressing, and grittier. Now, I will say, this is quite easily the darkest Iron Man film. You know what I mean? It deals with some pretty dark subjects within the film, and there are some really shocking scenes. It's definitely easily the most, even though I sort of feel like it's the funniest Iron Man film and the darkest.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
The comic relief shines brighter amongst the darkness of the film.
And it doesn't feel like jarring. Like one of my problems with Dark Knight Rises, which I still haven't reviewed, because
Plot twist, ruined a different movie.
But like the problem with, because people are going to compare this, because it's the Iron Man trilogy versus the Batman trilogy. People are going to compare these, so we may as well. But like the thing is that I feel like in Dark Knight Rises, they were trying to make it this massive grit fest, this, like, it's the grittiest, which it's not, and they were also trying to make it the funniest and the most entertaining.
Let's not forget the cops versus robbers war at the end of that film that just didn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Spoilers. But, yeah.
If you haven't seen Dark Knight Rises, I'm not talking about Iron Man. There's not a crime versus police war at the end of Iron Man. I'm talking about Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah. But like, it feels like this really gets what Rises didn't, where it's the combination and it doesn't feel out of place. Like you don't have a scene where like Tony is doing something really gritty and something bad's happening, it cuts, and then like he's having this back and forth with Catwoman. I mean, why would he be with Catwoman? But you know what I get. Like,
I get what you're saying.
It feels jarring in other movies as opposed to this, where it feels like Tony does the funny lines and he says the funny lines to deal with it. Much like
that's always
what Iron Man 1.
Yeah, that's his character, you know. Yeah. And I will say this isn't a spoiler. This is like literally the first scene in the movie. And I'm not going to say what it is, but we do get about 10 minutes of like classic Tony Stark in this movie. And I'm not going to say what it is, what he's doing, or what he says. But those of you who are very fond of Robert Downey Jr. playing arsehole Tony Stark from the start of Iron Man 1 will be pleased with the start of Iron Man 3.
Now, we've got like 2 minutes left, but I do want to address him, but not really review him that much. But let's talk about the Mandarin.
Are you sure you want to do that? That's risky.
It's risky, but if you just follow my lead, I think we
all right. You lead. I'll just back up sing.
Okay, I'm going to say my opinions first, and then based on how much spoilerific I was, you can say yours quickly.
All right, time's a ticking. Go.
I feel like they were so good at perception when it came to the Mandarin. I feel like the perception of the Mandarin that they give up. No, shut up. We don't have a lot left.
I was going to just say I agree in the same tone of voice.
Oh, okay. I feel like the best thing about the Mandarin is you have to constantly think about him. You have to be on your toes. There's bits where you're just like, I don't even know. It's so much of a mindfuck that people will dislike it. But I feel like because they did it and the way they pull it off, especially Shane Black, I really liked it. You have a minute, go.
I really like the Mandarin. I really don't know what everyone could possibly bitch about, but I can sort of see why comic fans would get really annoyed at the whole Mandarin thing, but we're dangerously close to spoiler territory now, so I'm not going to say any more. Just like Cameron said, go in with a very open mind about the Mandarin and think about it a lot. Don't just take it for granted, you know? The Mandarin is the Mandarin.
Perception, which is much of the Mandarin's tools in the comics. And with that, I'd like to thank Jack Morris from Man on Fire Films for being on my show. Thank you, Jack.
Jack Morris from Man on Fire Films would like to thank Cameron Morris from What's Up with Comics for having me on his show.
And I shall see you in a future review. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.